take this opportunity, yes, to welcome you back to this other session of ours. And now today we are going to look at still section B, that is part 2. As I said, part 1 has 2 items, that is item 4 and item 5. We only answer one item from there. Then you come to part 2, section B. It has got also 2 items, that is item 6 and item what? Item 7. So you also answer one item. Then from there, now let's look at part 2. Now part 2, it is mainly on human body physiology. I said item 1 was about environmental biology or biology of the environment. Now this item is about human body physiology. They are saying a learner should understand how animals obtain and use nutrients to meet their energy requirements, during which raw materials and products are transported to and from various organs involved. Now the topics we have here, we have animal cells and specialized cells. We have food nutrients and the nutrition in man. We have transport in animals. We have blood circulatory system. We have the lymphatic system. Now that is senior 2 work. We have excretion in humans. That is senior 3. Respiration and gaseous exchange. That is also senior 1. Senior 3. We look at section B part 2. Concentrates on work which we only learn in senior 2 and senior what? Senior 3. So when you are in senior 4, I expect you to be having the clue of all the above mentioned topics. Now the key areas here, we have the items in this section focuses on the responses, which include many body organs, processes, and those that tackle the societal issues. This may include feeding, respiration, gaseous exchange, respiratory waste product formation, and the elimination of waste products. That is all senior 3 work. Now we have to look at sources of food nutrients, digestion, and deficiency diseases with their symptoms. So a learner is expected to be knowing all this. Then the sources of nutrition or sources of nutrients and feeding requirements for children, physical worker, mental workers, like the bankers, pregnant mothers, and elders. Then you should also focus on feeding habits in relation to high blood pressure and heart diseases with the physical exercises as a solution. Then we have sources of food nutrients. We can look about assimilation of the food nutrients and their bets and their causes and the treatment. Then you should also look at calculation of body mass index BMI and the feeding disorders like bulimia, the anorexia nervosa, those ones with their symptoms, solutions, including the body shaping pills. When we talk about body shaping pills, these are dietary what? The dietary pills. Then from there you can look at diseases and disorders with their causes, symptoms, management, treatment, and prevention must be mastered. Then examples include disorders and diseases of the circulatory system, the respiratory system, and the kidney. You should focus on those things. Now they have given us the basis of evaluation, the criterion, and the tips for maximum scores. Now we are saying the organs or structure process involved. Then the criterion, you have mention organs or structures and the processes involved. Like when they've talked about digestion, maybe a runner ate carbohydrates or ate rice, portion, and the rest. Now you have to talk about, you mention in your responses, mention the organs or structure and the process involved. Then describe the processes, stating the location where they occur. For example, mastication occurs where? Then we have the roles or functions of different structures or processes. Now they are saying explain the roles or functions of the processes involved. And from there, we have, you should also know the functions of the processes like mastication, chemical digestion. For example, in the mouth, what happens when somebody eats carbohydrates? You know that that carbohydrates can be broken down by the amylase to maltose. You get absorption, blood saturation, respiration, gaseous exchange. You can talk about deamination and excretion. Now, when you look at this, the word which is new there is deamination. Now, deamination means you are removing an amino group from the amino acid. That is deamination. Then from there, you can also look at the identification of products of the activities from organs or processes involved. Now, identify the products of the activities in the structures or processes. Then you know the products of the above process, the useful products and the waste products, especially those ones of digestion and excess food nutrients and the respiration. From there, you can continue. You can talk about the diseases, deficiency disorders, physiological challenges in that context. Then identify the challenges, diseases, deficiencies according to the scenario given. Then you have to master the challenges posed by excess nutrients like glucose and amino acids. Then you should also know the deficiency diseases of the food nutrients. Then challenges caused by respiratory and excretory wastes, in bracket lactic acid, excess heat, and the carbon dioxide. So what happens in the muscles when you have increased lactic acid accumulation in muscles? What happens? You will feel now muscle pain or muscle pull. Then what happens when you have a lot of excess heat or excess carbon dioxide? You should be knowing these things. Then from there, we have to look at how the human body organs overcome these challenges. Here you must explain how the human body organ overcome the challenges created by the body activities. For example, if there is increased accumulation of carbon dioxide in the body, now how can these body organs you have to explain how the body overcomes such challenges. Then here you have to master how the body overcome challenges, maybe challenges caused by respiratory and excretory wastes. Then read about the management of different diseases and disorders. Now here we have note. They are saying organs, raw materials, processes, and the products of the processes must come out clearly in your essay responses. Then give basic biology without unnecessary descriptive details of a process, because the response covers many topics. Write a little about all the structures and the processes involved. Now they are arguing us that since this part involves very many organs, they are saying you should be brief. When talking about digestion, talk about digestion in the mouth. Then from there, talk about what happens in the duodenum. Then from the duodenum, actually you should talk about down what happens from the food to the duodenum. Now smaller intestine, what happens there. Then from there, you talk about what? Assimilation. Don't begin talking about digestion and you talk about mastication, process of swallowing, how food moves from there up to the duodenum. So you should be brief, since these areas covers very many organs or very many topics. So, and they are saying write a little about all the structures and the process which are involved. Yes, allow me end here. I wish you the best. I sign out. But next time we are going to look at some of the examples of these items. Item 7 and item 6. I said you choose one item in each part. And section B, we answer 2 items, but we choose 1 item from each part. Don't answer both items from 1 part, even though they are easy. We said 1 from each part. I wish you the best. Let's meet in examples.